So today we are going to be doing something a little different. I thought I would share a story from the first cosplay contest I actually went to with Shadow Freddy. Now, if you can hear some background noise, I'm sorry. There's the fan on. I'm letting some stuff dry, and it's just kind of warm. So, again, I'm sorry for that if you can hear the background noise. I don't know if the microphone's picking it up or not until I edit this video. So, this was my very first cosplay, contest. Now, here in North Carolina, I live in a very small town, so we don't have any conventions at all. We do have a Mardi Gras festival, which is, a new thing that started last year, and we have, a Halloween costume contest sort of thing. Now, this was back in February of, I think it was this year? I can't remember. But it was back in February, and this was my first ever contest. Now, Shadow Freddy, he has a lot of imperfections, but, I was very proud of him at the time, and I wasn't 100% sure on how to build him properly. Now, keep that in mind. Now, if you saw the making of video, there was some pictures from the contest. One of them, you can see Shadow Freddy's ears start to droop. Now, I had no idea that this was happening, because, again, I couldn't see on top of my head, obviously. But, I'm just walking around, getting pictures and everything, and then I just hear the person I was just go, "Oh my god," and I'm just like, what? And they're just like, "Your ear's falling off, it's starting to come off." I'm like, oh no, how am I gonna fix this? So, I'm just like, okay, maybe we should go home. There's a lot of time till the judging starts. We could just go home. We live really close to here. It's 5 minutes away. And we could just reattach the ear. I guess they didn't hear me because they decided to try to clip it back on with a hair clip. Now, at these contests, since it's not conventions, we do not have, cosplay repair stations, especially since a lot of the costumes are just store-bought anyways. There's really no point in having it. So, if something broke down, you're out of luck, especially if you don't live nearby. So, I was, kind of freaking out, but I was like, okay, I gotta stay calm. Alright, it'll be fine. So we attached the ear back on. It was fine, took a few more pictures, and then the parade starts. Now the judging was going to start in roughly 20 minutes. So I'm just like, okay. I had almost completely forgotten about my ear at this point because, I took in, so many great pictures, met some nice people, scared some children. So I was standing there, and, this little girl was, just death staring me across the street, trying to ignore it, and, I was just trying to watch the parade. Now, originally, I was thinking about marching in the parade, but I kind of decided not to. I'm just like, nah, I don't want to fill out all this paperwork and everything. It was a good thing that I did, because as I was watching, and this little girl was staring at me from across the street, I suddenly feel something on my head. I feel something. I hit the side of my head, and my head get significantly lighter. Okay, well, maybe not significantly, but it got a little lighter. I'm just like, and I look down, and I just see my ear rolling around in the street, and I'm just like, oh my god. So I grab it. Again, this poor little girl is just, witnessing this big purple bear freaking out because it's falling apart. Now, I'm sure I traumatized that child, and child, if you're watching, I'm very sorry. You weren't there when I came back, so I couldn't, apologize or take a picture with you. I'm very sorry. But, so, after that, I pick up my ear, and we all start freaking out. I'm just like, oh my god, we need to go home, I need to reattach this. And then, the people I was with, they're just trying to, attach again with more hair clips. I'm just like, no, we need to go home. So, like, they were still freaking out trying to attach it. I was just thinking, we need to go home. I have hot glue at home. Let me go home. So, as we were all kind of freaking out, I was having like a mental breakdown. This photographer walks up to us. Now, I'm kind of assuming that she's a photographer since, you know, she's walking around like as kind of like an escort at the parade. She wasn't really in it. She's kind of just walking around sides and had a camera. So I guess she technically might have not have been a photographer, but she's just going to be blonde photographer for the remainder of the story. So this photographer walks up to us. She's just like, oh no, what happened? That was a horrible impression. Whatever, it suits the story. That's going to be her voice. She's like, oh no, what happened? She was kind of like stifling laughter a little bit. I guess it would be kind of funny to like see a kid kind of standing there in like this purple bear costume and like these two adults freaking out, like trying to put this ear on. But still, everyone was freaking out. She's just like, oh no, did your ear fall off? I think I've said that like 3 times already, but you know. Oh no, did your ear fall off? And I'm just like, yes, my ear fell off. And she's just like, oh, and kind of like started laughing a little bit, and then took a picture without my consent and walked away. Now, I'm just standing there thinking, excuse me, what? Now, this was my first, like, ever contest, and up to that point, I didn't have anyone, like, take unconsensual pictures of me. Like, they'd always ask, you know, I'd traumatize their children, all's good. Except for, you know, like, this blonde, like, photographer lady. After that, I'm just like, oh my god, let's just go home. I can fix this with my hot glue. So I went home, because I was there with my uncle and aunt, so I went home with my uncle. She was staying there, like, kind of monitoring the parade and everything to make sure, like, she could call us if, like, anything happened and we need to get there, like, ASAP. So I got home, and the hot glue gun I was using at the time took, like, 5 minutes to heat up. I think that's kind of like the standard time for any hot glue gun, really. So I was sitting there, you know, I was kind of freaking out a little bit. Finally, like, heated up. I took the ear, put as much glue around it as possible, and kind of, like, stuck it on. It's not coming off ever. I plan to, like, completely remake his head in the future. It's gonna be kind of difficult because how long ago I bought the fabric, so it's gonna be nearly impossible to find like identical fabric, because I'm pretty sure the batch of dye that they've moved on to another batch of dye by this point. Because if you've ever tried to match fabric colors, it gets really difficult. So I attached the ear and everything. I'm like, okay, this is done now. Everything's okay. So we were sitting there, and we got this phone call. We were about to, like, kind of get into their car and everything, and then my aunt calls, and she's like, hey, the parade's over, the contest is starting earlier than expected, you guys need to get here now. So I'm just like, oh no. So I do live fairly close to where the contest was being held. I live about 5 minutes away. So we get there, and, like, the judging is already taking place. Now, if you've been to a convention, it's normally set up. You call ahead, you set, like, a time, you, like, book a time or whatever to get on the stage, and you have, like, your music and everything. That's not really how it is, since this was the first year it's been held, and it's not really a convention, it's just kind of like this little parade thing. So, I got there last minute, like in the middle of the judging. I finally got on stage. I won, thankfully, and they put that I was 5 years old on the certificate, which, you know, it's fine. It was so I guess it was like, you either had to be 5 years old to enter, or 32 years old. I don't know. There was no, like, you can't just, like, write your age down somewhere, because, you know, there's no, like, signing up for it. You kind of just, like, walked on stage, got judged and everything. So Afterwards, there's this restaurant nearby that's having like a free food for costume performers or whatever, and all the kids and adults that entered the contest. So we went there, and I was hanging out. My two handlers, my aunt and my uncle had went home by this point, and I was hanging out with my dad, waiting for my mom to get there. So we were, kind of just like hanging out at this restaurant, and so I was sitting there, and by this point, like, we're kind of almost done, we were about to leave. Everyone that was going to be there had got there at that point, but I just see this blonde woman walk up to me, and she like pats me on the back. She says, "Good job, champ," or something like that. And I'm just like, "What? Excuse me?" And she kind of just walked out. Now, I'm assuming this was the photographer since it had the same hair color, and I think she was wearing roughly the same outfit. Again, I didn't get like a good look at her face while I was in like costume because I didn't build the eyes very well. And I was freaking out, so it's not like I would probably remember her face anyways. I did remember her hair color for some reason. I remembered that she was blonde, and yeah. But if this was the photographer, she had the nerve to walk up to me and be like, "Hey, good job," after she had consensually taken my picture and laughed in my purple bare face. So I'm just like, okay, because at the time I didn't really know who this was. Now I'm pretty sure that it was the photographer. Not 100%, but I'm pretty sure. But other than like, Shadow Freddy having a full-on stroke and falling apart, and getting my picture taken without my consent, I had a pretty good time. Met the mayor, got to take pictures with him. He's also a photographer. He took some pictures. Got to scare some children. Got to meet some of my cosplayer friends that I don't get to see too often. Because we go to like the same high school and everything, but we're not really in the same classes. That might change whenever school starts again, but I'm not too sure. But I also got to meet some of my other friends I don't get to see too often because we don't have any same classes or anything. And it was all around good fun. I got to scare their little brothers, got some great pictures, had a great first time. Just there's a few things I could change differently. However, it was a great learning experience because now I know how to actually build ears properly, especially like with FNAF characters, because like they have like their animatronic mechs in certain spots exposed, like around their ears. And what I had originally done was put foil around a piece of cardboard and just like glue it on. Now I kind of know what to do, how to do it properly. If you're making a Five Nights at Freddy's cosplay yourself, do not use foil. It can fall apart really easily. It won't hold up over time, and if you do what I did and wrap it around like the base of the ear and glue it on, the hot glue will stick to the foil and not whatever you're using to connect the ears with, and it will fall apart, fall on the ground, and children will be traumatized. So be sure to, just be sure that everything is sturdy, make sure that everything is just constructed well, and if someone unconsensually takes your picture, cry about it for the next 3 years because there's nothing you can do when they run away from you in a parade when your cosplay is broken. I have not been able to find the picture anywhere. I know that I was in the newspaper, but I unfortunately did not get the chance to pick it up because I didn't know till like a few weeks after it was gone, because one of my friends had told me like, "Hey, you're in the newspaper." I asked them to give me their copy, and they said, "Yeah, sure, I will. We're not using it for anything." But then quarantine hit, so it's really just very inconvenient. Maybe I'll try to see if there's an online copy somewhere. if I do and I can find it, maybe I'll put it right here. I don't know. Maybe that picture ended up in the newspaper. If it did, I will be very upset. But that's pretty much it for the story time. I've never really done one of these before. I always kind of have wanted to, but I don't really have too many interesting things that go on in my life. So, yeah, here's a story about how I fell apart, literally. I hope you guys did enjoy the video. And if you would like to see more story times in the future, just tell me. I do have a couple. They're certainly not as, kind of dark as I fell apart and traumatized children. I do have a lot more, kind of lighthearted, kind of funny stories. Not too many, because I haven't been to too many, cosplay contests or conventions. I did have some booked, but they unfortunately got canceled, and I obviously can't go to them. If you'd like to hear more story times, just let me know. I hope everyone enjoyed the video, and I'm very sorry for my voice. I'm starting to lose it, and I'm not 100% sure why. There should be another podcast out next Saturday. Well, this Saturday, right? Yeah, this Saturday. And yeah, I plan to have a special guest on. Not 100% sure if it'll happen because different time zones and everything. If I do, it'll be on Void Killer's channel and in my podcast playlist. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I hope everyone enjoyed, and peace out.